And I'm Andrea.
Welcome back to The Balanced Mom.
I am so excited about today because we're talking about paper clutter.
And I'm not gonna lie, this is not my forte. I told my husband we were doing this video, and he apparently told me that I'm terrible and I leave papers out all the time.
I love this topic, and it's funny because when I come over, I feel like you have it under control. I don't see paper everywhere. There's not a bunch of mail waiting for you to go through.
So I have a really handy drawer that's empty, and oftentimes if people are coming over and I don't have time to go through the mail or whatever paper I have, it gets shoved in there.
Hold up. Do you shove everything before I come over?
Sometimes. I don't like people seeing my mess. I'm sure like other people can relate to that, but like there's stuff in there from like a month ago that I said I was gonna get to, and I still haven't. I will probably benefit from the tips that she's giving us in this video today.
So I cannot stand all the paper. And so I felt early on that I have to figure out a way to manage all the paper so that I don't go crazy. Okay, First thing is mail. So I think getting mail under control is really important. We do not get the mail unless mommy is ready to go through it. And so I can go through it right then.
Well, and that's a good point there too, because we've had it where like we're like, oh, where did this bill go? We need to pay it. And then it was like shoved in the drawer, and maybe it's at the bottom, so I didn't notice it was in there. So it is good to just like handle it right there and then, or to have like a specific place to put it.
So I used to bring it in and I used to pile it. I had a little section where I pile it up, and you're right. When it gets really big, I don't want to go through it anymore. It reminds me of laundry. When laundry is huge, you're like, oh,
it gets like overwhelming. And you just don't want to deal with it.
So mail is just enough to handle it, even if it honestly takes me 6 days. I mean, there's probably days when the mailman is not a big fan of our family because he's probably thinking, why aren't you getting your mail? But it happens. That's okay. So we get the mail, go through it, get rid of everything, and then as soon as I have a bill or something that's important, I have a slot and I put it in there right by the computer ready to pay the bills or whatever it is I need to take care of it. So it's there. When I pay bills, I check it, and then again, I get rid of it, store it, recycle it, done. Everything is on the computer. I have a full spreadsheet of everything that I need to pay. I enter the amount. It's super easy. It helps me to eliminate a lot of paper that comes in. The other big paper thing is all the crafts that come from kids. And there's a lot of crafts. It just keeps coming. I feel like anytime they step foot in the house, there's another craft. So how to control all that? We take pictures, and then the truth is we recycle a lot. So we do have a storage bin, and if it's something that they really love, then we'll stick it in there. And typically between 5 and 10 things get stored every year per child. That's it.
So what I do for Kenley's Awana things is we have a door that's magnetic, and so I'll hang up her pictures from that week or whatever craft she brings home, and then the next week when she leaves to Awana, I throw it out. She doesn't notice. It's already been up there for a week. It's like not new anymore. And then when she gets home, I let her hang up the next one. So really we just have one craft hanging up at a time.
We also have to keep in mind, what if your child cries when you throw away these crafts?
So what I do is I have a hand-in pile, which is part of our school system. I'll say, go put it in the hand-in pile. And it's easy to detach that way. It's in the hand-in pile. Nobody really looks through the hand-in pile.
If it's something like she wrote like a really sweet letter to me or something, then we have a memory box. We store it in there. And so we only allow what fits in the shoebox to be saved, and anything else needs to be thrown away.
Is this shoebox per year or like their life? This will be just your little memory box.
I haven't decided that yet. Right now we're trying to keep it to that for their life. I don't know, I might end up being more sentimental than I think I am, and then I might end up having multiple boxes. I know you said you throw a lot of these things out. You could probably do that with this too. What do you do with receipts?
Oh my goodness, receipts. Well, I have a little tiny plastic type folder, and I put all the receipts in there, and it does accumulate, and so I do have to go through it. But I also decide, is it important? Do I have to keep it? Then it kind of keeps them at a minimal.
Right. Another thing for us is we use FSA for our doctor's appointments and co-pays. So we bring home a lot of those receipts, and sometimes you need to submit them to the insurance to make sure they cover them, or to the FSA, whoever you submit it to. What do you do with those receipts? Because those you have to keep until it's dealt with, and sometimes you'll submit it and it still takes a while for them to get back to you, so we have a bunch of those receipts.
So you know there's the important documents like social security cards, passports, birth certificates. I mean, those important documents, and those would be important documents. So we typically use this big like plastic organizer, and I store them based on category. So that one is separated, and again, those are important documents. Instead of like receipts goes into a small one, because the important documents I never have to go through. They're there, they get stored, they stay that way. And versus receipts are ones that I don't want to keep for, 3-5 years.
I love to make lists. I have lots of lists, like to-do lists to remind me to do things, to call people. When I meet someone and I want to remember their name, I'll keep like a running list of like, I want to have this person over for dinner. What do I do with those lists? I don't want to throw them out because obviously I need them so I can see them and remember to do whatever's on them.
So I think there are so many apps out there. I actually use Evernote and everything gets stored in there. The nice thing about it is that you can search.
Yeah, so it's great to just go digital with your paper.
And pick an app that works. I chose Evernote because it's free for a certain amount of space. So for example, you said when you meet people, that's a big one. But I will send a text message to my husband that'll say the location, like church, person's name, and maybe something about them so that I could remember their name. Why I text my husband the name instead of adding it to Evernote. And I have one in Evernote, but I noticed that when I'm talking to somebody, when I walk away, my first reaction is like open Evernote, and then I have to search for that document with people's names. So it comes so much quicker to just go straight to text, type in the location, person's name, and then I don't forget it, and I'm not kind of searching through my old documents on where's the one with people's names.
Right.
I do the same thing with when I make a phone call. I'll write the person's name, what they said, and then if it's like Comcast, AT&T, whoever I'm talking to, that's what I'll write in that text.
Right.
So when I'm searching back and my Comcast bill went up, I just type in Comcast and I see this is who I spoke to, this is the confirmation number, this is what it should cost. So kind of it's my note taking too.
Right.
Text messaging either to myself or to my husband.
Funny story about this is I have been on the receiving end of her like writing these notes down before. So make sure you don't accidentally send it, where she'll send me like the name of a company and like a phone number or something, and I'm like, Andrea, what are you sending me? And she's like, oh, sorry, I was taking notes.
But I'm big on technology, incorporating everything, including text messages that we send out yearly. Like for Thanksgiving, it's, the same gist of it, the same number of people that are invited, what foods we ate, if we need more of something or less of something, or if we tried a new recipe and people weren't a fan of it, I won't remember a year later.
Right.
So everything goes in Evernote. It'll be labeled Thanksgiving, and then under it will be how many people came, what we made, what we need more of for the following year.
So you can just use the same thing each year. Yeah, it would
It
save you a ton of time.
Yes, it saves you time. It saves you the brain space where you're like, how many people are coming? What do we need?
Right.
So that you're not recalculating every single time.
Yeah, doing the same prep work for the same party every single year. Yeah, that makes
What a
sense.
waste of time.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but that makes sense if you're
Yeah.
going to be doing the same things every year, to just keep a running list, and then you don't have to re-plan everything all over again.
And here's another one. 9 years ago, I still have my list. And so I like, if somebody ever says like, what do I need for my baby shower? I love going back to it and saying, I actually still have mine. So I like updating it, and I like blessing others and saying, hey, I already did the work. Here it is.
She gave me one of those lists. You gave me your what to pack for the hospital when you're going to labor list. And that was super helpful. And then I had her list, and I sort of updated it with my own things that I needed. And then for my second kid, I didn't have to stress out thinking like, what do I need to pack? Because I already had it there. And I did keep it on my phone actually, now that I think about it. So it was easy to just like look up, and I wasn't worried it was going to get lost because, if it's digital, it's like saved forever as long as you don't delete it by mistake.
Yeah. You're not starting from scratch every single time.
Right. And the search function is really nice because otherwise you have like stacks and stacks of paper to go through, and that obviously takes a lot more time than just typing in your search bar. Well, now that you mention it, I think I do use my phone a lot. I use Google Notes. What's nice about that is it actually backs up to Google Drive automatically. That's really nice because if you have important things with a piece of paper, you can always lose it. But if it's backed up to like an online drive somewhere.
Right. And that's how Evernote is. There's so many out there. Just make sure it's backed up to their server, not to your phone. Or to your cloud, of course.
Right. I feel like for me, I don't realize how much just more cluttered it looks when you have like pieces of paper on the counter, or I'll have them like on the floor in the living room because my kids were doing crafts and they just left them there, and you don't realize how much paper accumulates. But at the end of the day, when I'm cleaning up and I'm making piles of all the papers around the house, it really does turn out to be a lot. So hopefully some of these tips today helped you. I know for me, I'll probably be taking home some of these things and using them to help declutter my house from all the paper that's in there. I think going digital is a super awesome idea. All right, ladies, if you have any other tips or tricks for us in managing paper clutter, go ahead and share your thoughts below. If you could relate to anything in this video or got anything from it, please give us a thumbs up.
And please show us some love by subscribing to our channel.
If it's like an absorbitant? Exorbitant? What's the word? If you have any other tips and trips, if you... We're doing so good.
So well.
You can tell she's the teacher over here.
Is it called a vanilla folder?
Like the yellowy, orangey one? Oh, I don't know.